Hello everyone, welcome to this module on federalism, grade 10 and grade 11 related topic, that is federalism. So we will be describing what is the meaning of the word federalism. As the topic is big, we are making it in a series of videos, so you may have to go through all the videos in order to understand the topic. So let us begin the module on federalism. We begin by describing what is federalism in general terms. We try to understand the theory and practice of federalism in India, discuss the features of federalism, discuss the types of federalism, and then we will be looking at the constitutional provisions that is being followed by an analysis of the policies and the politics that has strengthened federalism in practice. So in this module on federalism, we will describe what is federalism. We'll try to understand the theory and the practice of federalism. The theory and the practice of federalism. We'll go through the general terms of federalism. What are the features of federalism? Discuss the types of federalism, and then we'll be looking at the constitutional provisions, analysis of the policies, and how the politics have strengthened federalism in practice. So before we get into the details of federalism, you need to remember the case studies of Belgium and the case studies of Sri Lanka, what we have discussed in the first chapter of grade 10. That is, the Belgian leaders have taken a different path to recognize the existence of the regional differences and the cultural differences. So between 1970 and 1993, they have amended their constitution how many times? 4 times. So from 1970 to 1993, in order to recognize the existence of the regional differences between 1970 and 1993, they amended their constitution and they brought 4 times it has changed to work out an arrangement that would enable everyone, those who are living in Belgium, can live together within the same country, and they worked out for a different from any other country, and that is very, very innovative in nature. So the Belgian leaders realized and they took a different path. I am not getting into all the details because already we discussed in this topic in first chapter. I am just giving the overview of it. Next, the constitution describes that there should be an equal number of Dutch, French speaking ministers in the central government, where they recognized both the communities. What is that? That is very innovative in nature in what the Belgian leaders have brought. They have recognized the majority and the minority equally. The constitution has been amended in such a way that there should be equal number of ministers from the Dutch community, and also the French speaking community will have equal number of ministries in the central government. There are also special laws which are required to support the majority of each linguistic group. All the languages are recognized, so there is no single community which can make any decision unilaterally. That's why we are calling this as a very innovative, and this approach is called accommodation approach in Belgium. Now moving on to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is an independent country in 1948, where the leaders of the Sinhala sought to secure dominance over the government by the virtue of their majority. So there in Sri Lanka, as you can see here, the island country has the majority of this yellow shade, the Sinhalas. Now, these people have adopted the majoritarian measures and they want to establish the Sinhala supremacy. So in 1956, they have passed an act recognizing Sinhalas as the only official language, and they disregarded Tamil. They disregarded the Tamil language, whereas you can see the Tamilian population, which is spread across the entire north and the eastern coast, and also in few parts of south western part and this south central region. Now, in 1956, they passed a law which recognizes Sinhala as the official language, and they also gave preferential policies and favored the Sinhala applicants for the university positions as well as for the government jobs. Now, not only language, there also been a preferential policy which has been favored to the Sinhala applicants for the university positions as well as for the government jobs. Now, a new constitution also stipulated that states shall protect and also foster the religion of Buddhism. Now, not only language, preferences, but also religion has been declared as an official religion. So, all these government measures coming one after the other gradually increase the feeling of alienation, neglected among the Sri Lankan Tamilians. Naturally, anybody would feel the same. Same happened with the Sri Lankan Tamilians. So they felt that none of the major political parties are led by the non-Buddhist leaders because they are not able to understand about the sensitivity or the feelings of the Sri Lankan Tamilians. So everything is led by the Buddhist leaders, and they were no one who is sensitive to the languages or to the culture, and that resulted in civil war and a setback for the development of Sri Lanka in 1990s. So we learned what we are going to look at in this chapter. Then we discussed the overview of Belgium case study, how it is innovative in nature, and we also learned what made the Tamilians feel alienated in the entire process of the majoritarian approach. That's all we have in this introductory module. Stay tuned. We'll catch you in the next section.